What's good, gang? I'm your host Swan, and we are back with another video. And today we're breaking down the beginning after the end, chapter 230. Let's get to it. We pick up with Ellie teaches Sylvie how to walk in her new human form. But as you can see, she's having a hard time balancing on two legs, which leads to her falling. And then Ellie fell with her to try and catch her. But they both fell on the ground. Like, I can't make this up. I'm not gonna lie, it's cute. They grew up together. We then transition to Flamesworth debriefing his subordinates on their current mission. And for those of you who don't know or forgot, Trotius Flamesworth is the patriarch of the House of Flamesworth. He's Jasmine's father. Y'all remember Jasmine? Yeah, her. He was introduced as the main antagonist of her light novel, and he serves as the senior captain of the Wall. The captain goes on to ask, how correct are the log sheets timelines for clearing the dungeons? She tells him fairly accurate. He tells her reduce the amount of time it takes to clear the dungeons, because an entire week is just too long to relay the active information during the war. Now remember, some of these dungeons require Silver to White Core mages to clear, and their resources are very limited due to them constantly being under attack. Flamesworth goes on to say, the wall is the last line of defense on the east, and we have very limited numbers as it is. And if the dungeon in our own backyard begins to overflow, they don't have enough troops to hold back the onslaught. We then learned that Tessa's division is currently securing the underground routes for the troops to move through undetected. But Dickerton was forced to flood another tunnel last week because its location was compromised, so securing more routes is a top priority for them right now. But in conjunction with them securing more routes to move their troops, they're also searching for teleportation gates left behind by the mages of old. Kinda like the floating castle and the Cyrus City, these are all relics left behind by those mages. We find out that the runes on the gates are indecipherable, and yet they still manage to build entire cities around them. Modern scientists have unlocked how to connect the teleportation gates and change their destinations, but actually building one is a distant dream for them currently. Arthur then asks them, what is their main method for finding the gates? And Flamesworth goes on to say, each gate emits a faint fluctuation of monoparticles, and since these fluctuations occur throughout the whole spectrum of elements, the gates blend into the environment, which makes it difficult for them to track. In the end, Arthur decides it's a waste of time. Even with Ramhart, the fluctuations are way too small and the environment he'd be searching is way too big, so there's no guarantee he'll find one. Just as their meeting is coming to an end, Arthur decides to tell them the information given to him by Stefan. He goes on to say that the Alcrean mages have a very limited specialized form of magic manipulation in runes, marks, crests, and regulars. For example, a strike-type mage could launch a long-range attack, or a tank-type mage could conjure a mana blade and start DPSing. It'll get really crazy. All this information makes the captains of the wall weary to relay it to their troops because it's not guaranteed information and could get their troops killed if they're not cautious enough. Arthur tells them only relay the information to the heads of each division and have them observe it. Just because their magic is different from ours doesn't mean it's better by any means, so study the flaws and exploit them. As the chapter is coming to an end, Arthur could tell that learning about marks, crests, and regulars made the captains of the wall hesitate to act on the information given because the Alcreans operate so differently in their magic system. As the chapter ends, Arthur overhears two vendors discussing why don't the captains just deploy all of their troops to the front line instead of having them patrol the city. It's a waste of resources. But we all know, in the game of war, deploying all your troops to the front line is just funneling good men to their death.